Howdy-ho, boys and girls. It's time for another Jeep Talk Show interview, and today we're going to be talking with David McBee. I was just going to say David is a friend of the show, and then I mispronounced his name. David is a longtime friend of the show and has been on here several times. He is one of the rare individuals and businesses that contacted us about being on the show. And David, as I'm sure you can imagine, that's just a sweet deal, because you don't have to go out and search for people. They say, hey, can I be on your show? Can I do an interview? And it was a great interview. And it's not like you had something that sucked. It was something that was really, really cool, and something that I don't think anybody else has done before. But I'll continue. I'm excited to introduce David McBee, an award-winning author, keynote speaker, and Jeep enthusiast who blends his love for off-roading with his passion for empowering others. David is the author of the children's book series, DJ's Off-Road Adventures, where real-life adventures teach kids valuable lessons about courage, teamwork, and standing up for others. You've never been a member of a Jeep club, obviously. He also wrote Tales from the Trails, a collection of 46 short stories from the off-road community that is very much like a chicken soup for the soul book. I like that. That's cool, especially for off-roaders. When he's not writing, David is out exploring trails or inspiring others with his message of resilience and growth. You can find out more about this, about all of your books, because you've got a bunch of them now, at djsoffroadadventures.com. And that's like David Jean, djsoffroadadventure.com. I don't know if everybody knows what phonetics are. So when I say David Jean, I hope that didn't confuse anybody. You say a word so that you know what letter it is to go look for, because D can sound like B. I think J always sounds like J, but
well, fun fact, DJ actually stands for David's Jeep.
Okay.
Yeah, people usually think it's my middle name, but no, it's just I was trying to think of a name for the little Jeep, and I thought, well, it's David's Jeep, so DJ.
So isn't DJ a character in the old series, maybe the new one as well, Roseanne? Wasn't that her youngest son? I think DJ
that
was
sounds
her.
right. Yeah, I think DJ was her.
Yeah, I didn't either. I never did care for her. My wife would watch it, and now she's watching the Connors. We won't even get into that. I mean, how do you fire the star? But anyway, no, I'm not going to go there. People complain about going political and things, so I'm not going to go there. Anyway, I want to start this with two things. I want to start this part with, I want to thank you as one of the rare businesses and guests that have gone out of your way to help promote the Jeep Talk Show. You would think that if somebody takes the time to be on the show and do an interview and waste 45 minutes to an hour of their time, that they're going to help promote it. I mean, if they like the product, like what they did. And it's very rare. You've probably run across this too. You probably run across this with Tales from the Trails, because you have stories from individuals that have written in, and you've culled through it and actually helped them write it in some cases. And you put that in the book, and they probably never talk about it. And you think, why wouldn't you talk about it?
That has happened. Yeah, that has happened.
Yeah. Well, and it's not anything against them. I think it's like they reached their goal. They completed the story, or they completed the interview, and now they get on to other things that they need to do, because, that's the way life is. So it's disappointing, though, when we do the interview, that it doesn't get promoted very well. And I'm telling you, I just realized this today. You've always promoted it very well. And I really appreciate that.
Yeah, and just as I am just blown away by some of the people who embraced their experience with Tales from the Trails and promoted it, I think I sold 10 times as many books, because some of the influencers would, share their experience, and it was really rewarding to see that.
And I bet you that was a lot more, and I don't know this for sure, but I bet you this was a much more complex book to write than the standard children's book that you've been writing, because not as many words on the children's books, more pictures, I'm assuming.
Well, Tales from the Trails was it's a 64,000 word book. It was a lot of work, and I would interview them, and then I would have to write the story and then share the story with them and then edit it until they were happy. And it was a labor of love. But the experience of writing it was worth every minute of it, because I got to meet so many, as you would know, doing this show, you get to meet so many amazing people in the Jeep community, in the off-road community. So I told myself, even if I never sell a single book, it will have been worth the effort to have written it.
Well, this whole thing has nothing to do with making vast sums of money. It's just something that you wanted to, yeah, it's just something that you wanted to do. It was a passion that you had. And some people paint, some people do paper mache, some people are serial killers. I like a good bowl of cereal, so, I understand that. But this was just a passion for you. And I think it's outstanding. I mean, the books are the first ones that I saw, very colorful. I have no doubt that the other ones are as well. I think if you're watching this on YouTube, which you should be, you can see a little bit of the artwork behind David there and his shot. And they're very pretty. But anyway, what was the other thing I was going to talk? Oh yeah. The whole reason for the first book, and at least I think I remember the story correctly. Tell people, because, we have new people all the time. They may not have heard your prior interviews. Tell people how you came up with the idea for the first book.
All right. So the first book is called DJ Faces His Fear. And it basically came about because I've been driving Jeeps since I was 16. But I've been driving Jeeps in Kansas and Missouri all that time. And it wasn't until I discovered Instagram that I discovered Moab. And, I knew Colorado was beautiful, but Instagram really made me want to go out there and, do some real Jeeping, if you will. Right. And so I got in with some experienced Jeepers, a guy by the name of Jeff Hooper, who owns Hooper's Hooper's Overland Adventures. And we went out to Moab, and the very first trail he took me on, and I want to punch him in the face to this day, because the very first trail he took me on was Hell's Revenge. And that entrance to Hell's Revenge is like driving up the back of a sandworm, with huge drops on both sides, you're off camber. And I had a massive panic attack. Like, I flipped out. I had to put the car in park. I was sweating. I was hyperventilating. I just wanted to go home to Kansas where it's nice and flat. But Jeff and his wife Desi and his dad Carl and friends David and Levi, they all just stopped what they were doing. They got out of their Jeeps. They walked up to my Jeep. They talked me through the obstacle. Like, you got this. You're not going anywhere. They were so kind, and I didn't even know them that well at the time. They've become my very closest friends. And they just turned my biggest fear into my greatest passion. And, for anybody who's ever bungee jumped or skydived or done something stupid, crazy, there's something about overcoming that fear that makes the experience worth having. And so now I crave it. Now I want to go to the shelf roads, and I want to go, drive down Black Bear on the staircases, whatever. But I got home and I was telling people this story, and everybody's like, that sounds like a children's book. Sounds like The Little Engine That Could. And I was like, yeah, it does. And then I was like, it kind of stuck with me. And I was like, could I do it? Could I turn this into a book? And that's how DJ Faces His Fear came along.
It's amazing too, because you know how men are. Men don't want to admit anything wrong. I always say 99% of being a man is acting like you know everything and you're not afraid of anything. So it's really good because, and I think men do share this with their children. Certainly not their wives. They don't need that kind of grief, but they'll share these things with their children because they know that they're going to have to go through things in their life as well that they need to be able to overcome. But for you to do this publicly, hell, for you just to freeze up and make those men come out, because that's ammunition for them for years forward. They can give you a hard time about it. And as men, we don't like to be the butt of the jokes. So for you to go through this and share this and be eager to share this with many people, it's a wonderful thing. It's a fear unto itself. It may not be for you, but I think for a lot of people it is. To admit that you were afraid of something is another fear that we have to contend with.
Yeah. Besides the panic of being high on that rock, there was also the embarrassment
exactly
of being the one holding them back, I was almost in tears, like, and nobody wants to be that vulnerable with other men,
No.
especially, and men you don't know that well. So yeah, the embarrassment of it was a big factor of it too.
Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you, I've been to Hell's Revenge. I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm in Texas, in Southeast Texas. It's really, mostly flat here with the exception of our flyovers. The flyovers are huge. I mean, you may have gotten a panic attack on some of the flyovers that we have here on the freeways. I mean, it reminds me.
That's true. They're crazy high over there.
Yeah, and they're 2 lanes, or sometimes 1 lane. It's funny. I haven't flown since the 80s, but coming off the flyovers initially was very reminiscent of coming in for a landing in a small plane because it's so high.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I've been to Hell's Revenge. I've been over that little thing. But when you were telling that story, I'm thinking, I'm remembering that you were on Lines Back. The one that they have closed now, the one that the Blazer was coming down and the brakes faded and it went off. But it looks a lot like that. It's just not as high and not as big. So I've when you said that, maybe I hadn't been on the last time we talked, but it was 2023 when I was there at EJS that I went to Hell's Revenge. Hell's Revenge is scary, but it's scary for a different reason. What you're talking about, where you may not die, but the Jeep's going to. The Jeep's going to be messed up if it slides off. I remember I've talked about this before. Bill, Jeep Talk Show team member Bill, has a 392. I've got the Gladiator 2021 Gladiator, and of course we both got the fancy stuff, the tilt indicator and stuff that's part of the Jeep. So we were comparing the tilt coming down off of because it feels like you're doing a 90-degree drop, like the bumper's going to scrape on the flat part. And I think we got like I can't remember, 36 degrees, 39 degrees. So it was nowhere. It wasn't even 45 degrees. So the mind plays tricks on you, and it does so because you're just not used to the situation. So it's very understandable where you would get scared about that. I can't believe they did that as your first trail, though. That's rough.
And I've been back and I've done it again, and my heart raced, but I was fine.
Yeah.
It's
just fun now.
Exposure therapy. The more you do it, the less afraid of it you are, right? So. Yeah. But it was just so out of the blue. It's like the very first time you go on something like that, and if you've never done anything like it, you're wondering, why are they letting cars drive on this? Like that, this seems like something I would do with my Hot Wheels in the dirt when I was 7.
Right. So anyway, that was the reason for the book. And how long ago was that? How long ago did the book come out? It's been a number of years now, hasn't it?
Yeah, it was right before the pandemic. It released like March of when
timing is everything.
I had all these plans to go to elementary schools and promote it and everything, and I was like, oh well, I just sold 3 books after this. It was not good timing.
No, but you got to do it. So was that the only reason for writing the book? You didn't have a feel for wanting to be an author prior to that event?
No, not a children's book author. Never. No, it feels a little like it was divinely inspired, like I had to do it. And you and I have talked about this, about like what an investment it was, having to pay the illustrator for every single piece of artwork and having to pay a book designer and a publisher. And, I was hopeful that it would, sell a lot of books.
At least pay for itself.
But right out of the gate, it just didn't,
Right.
But over the years, people ask me, how has the book sold? Because I've got the book in places like Kansas Rocks and S'more and Hot Springs Off-Road Park. Like there are a lot of places that resell my books. I mean, I give them a discount, so I make even less than I would. But at the end of the day, the book's been in thousands of young hands, and that's what just makes me feel so happy.
Have you, and I'm sure you have, but have you received any feedback or maybe memorable feedback from kids or parents telling you something that a kid said, or,
Yeah, my favorite story is about a little boy who had gotten to go invited on a sleepover. and he was pretty young. He was afraid to not sleep in his own bed, but he told his mom, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna be brave like DJ was. And
wow.
yeah, so
that's got to make your heart feel great.
Absolutely. I'm getting goosebumps now just thinking about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you don't want kids to do anything dangerous, but it doesn't have to be dangerous to overcome fear. It can be your first day in kindergarten. It can be staying at grandma's house for the first time. You love grandma, but it's a whole different environment and you're just not used to it. Especially if you're not somebody that goes to daycare. Good Lord, I just don't see how parents can. I don't make any of you guys feel bad, but I did not like the idea of my kids being in daycare, because I don't like somebody working on my Jeep that isn't me, because they don't care for your Jeep as much as you care for your Jeep. Now, and kids is like 10 times that, but it works out just fine. So don't panic. Now that was your first book. Tell me about all the books that came after that. And the next book, what was the next book that you came out with?
Honestly, the next one was called Better Together. And I thought this would be a one-time thing. One book, I was done, right? But we were out wheeling with the same crew a year or two later. And there's a very good friend of mine named Justin. And he's like, he just wants me to keep writing more and more books. He's like, look what we did today. We should turn that into a story. Like we helped someone on the trail, someone we didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
And then I always take a drone with me when I go off-roading. He's like, you could turn the drone into a character, that was droney, And so he inspired me to like, okay, well, let's see if we've got another story here. And so Better Together became about the crew going out in the desert and then finding a car that ran out of gas, and then finding a truck that had broken down, and towing them off of the mountain and things like that. So Better Together is all about teamwork. And then the third book is called Girls Rock.
Oh, that's right. I remember that one.
This one was inspired because both my wife and daughter bought pink Jeeps, and I had gotten familiar with so many of the female Jeep influencers on Instagram talking about how they were disregarded in a man's sport because they were a woman, right? And they're always having to say, well, I can do it as good as you can. I think you said something in the last interview where like a woman can hold a steering wheel and push a gas pedal as easy as a man
can press a skinny pedal and a brake pedal just as easy as a man can.
Yeah. So I tried to write that story in their voice, and it's about how like the big mean off-roaders pick on this pink Jeep, and then she comes along and just kicks their butts, and shows them what she's capable of.
I'm surprised Disney hasn't contacted you about that book yet. To turn it into a movie, because that sounds like a thing that they would do.
Honestly, that's the dream, right? I'm a little self-published author who hasn't sold, thousands of books, right? But if I were ever to get a call from Disney that said, "Hey, we want to turn this into a Pixar movie," I would just
Wouldn't that be cool? Wouldn't that be cool?
I would die on the spot.
What was that? What was that movie with the tow truck that was country and I forget.
You're talking about Mater, Disney Cars, yeah.
Yeah.
And to be fair, Disney Cars was a huge inspiration for me. That's one that my son and I grew up.
That's why I'm making the connection, because it kind of has that feel. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's the eyes and the mouth and of a vehicle like that's. But at the end of the day, that's the dream. I would love a call from them. I would.
Well, it doesn't have to be Disney. It can be. Who wouldn't want to talk to Spielberg? I mean, just to be called,
Hey. Yeah, that's my phone number is online. It's easy to find. DavidMcBee.com.
Yeah, now it's probably be Jeff Spielberg, not the actual Spielberg that we're talking about. Spielberg? No, this is Jeff. I get that all the time. Those are the books, and then after those books came the Tales from the Trails.
Yes, actually, Tales from the Trails kind of fell in there, and the reason that one happened is because I'm a big self-help book reader myself. I love the Chicken Soup for the Soul books. I love inspiring people. And I had talked to a few people who had inspiring stories like mine. Like, I overcame my biggest fear because of this Jeep and the Jeep community.
Right.
Who else has a story like that, right?
Oh, you
And
know,
so
there's
I
going to be a
reached
bunch of
out.
them out there. But I bet you it was hard getting people to share those stories.
It wasn't as hard as you'd think.
Good.
Honestly.
So I was the only one that didn't pony up the story.
Well, not everyone has an inspiring story. But that book was a little less expensive to produce because I didn't have to pay an illustrator.
Mm-hmm.
That one was really my blood, sweat, and tears and time. And I'm so proud of that book. I have to admit, I'm a little sad it didn't sell better and more people haven't read it, but it's one of my favorite things I've ever done. So,
well, that's the important thing. I mean, I know what you're saying. It's nice whenever it does very well, but you never know. And that's kind of the cool thing about us doing these shows. You never know when somebody's going to watch it or listen to it. And the same thing about books. And the really cool thing is, and I make this comment from time to time, how cool would it be that there's 100 people on a starship heading to Mars. They got lots of time on their hands, and they pull up their little device and they pull up Tales from the Trails, and they're literally entertaining themselves while they're the first humans going to Mars. Because you never know when you put things out there, who's going to be reading it, when they're going to be reading it, because it could be well down the road. I mean, look at Shakespeare. I'm not saying you're Shakespeare. I'm just saying that's something that people still read and still celebrate so many hundreds of years later. So you don't know, whatever you put yourself out there, you do something like this, you may be inspiring people that you will never be able to meet until time travel.
Yeah. And there's a element to writing a book that's, related to legacy. I think I'm in my 50s now. I'm thinking about my legacy. And the idea that these books will live on long past me, that's kind of comforting.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's the same thing with our children, but it's really more of us. Children, you want to be their own individuals. And then when you create something, it really is a better reflection of who you are because it's your words.
Yeah.
So, Tales on the Trails, I was just looking this thing up if you guys were watching here and going, what's he looking at? I'm looking at another screen, and I need to get this book. I think that I saw, did you send me a copy of this? I can't remember.
I sent you a gift card to buy a copy. Which you probably used on something else, but I'll send you a copy. I have no problem with that.
I don't think that I ever saw the gift card.
That's all right. Well, I'll make sure you get a copy after this.
No. You sent me a gift card. You don't have to send me more than once. I just can't remember because I was interested in reading these stories, and I can't remember why I didn't.
Well, you've interviewed a few people who have been in the book, right? Jeremy Rowe, for example, and I think of
that has to be an interesting story. Again, going back to the creation of things, Jeremy Rowe does songs. He's in a band and sings songs, and he did that one about the Jeep thing that I think everybody recognizes.
Yeah, but his story's more about the experience he had with his wife, and the Jeep song kind of came out of the blue, but the real story is much deeper and more powerful than just, I was inspired to write a song.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that's a good tease to buy the book. So Tales on the Trail, off-road stories of adventure and resilience. I'm so proud I was able to read that word for the first go. Tales on the Trails. It's on Amazon. Let's see, what am I looking at here? The paperback is $16.99, and it is available on Kindle for $8.49. So I'll have to check in on my Kindle. I'm not a big book reader because it puts me to sleep. I haven't trained myself in years and years and years of actually being able to stick with it. I buy the books though, and they sit in the Kindle app. I started reading one the other night. I got really sleepy, and I switched over to TikTok and woke right up. So. And I know I've asked this before, and I don't think, I know the answer was no, but it could always change. Have you considered doing an audiobook?
Actually, yes. The thing about Tales from the Trails is I feel like I could voice all the male stories, but I'd want a female to voice the female stories. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to find that person, actually.
Okay, so you're looking into doing this.
Yeah.
I cannot fall asleep listening to a book, which is the reason why I thought about this. I have listened to audiobooks. I don't listen to a lot of them. I'm usually busy working on this show and editing videos and audio. But that's really cool. Now, I always ask this, and we're not wrapping up yet. I always ask this: do you have any more books in you? And are they children books or are they story books?
I mean, every time somebody asks me that, I say no.
Who's the guy that gives you ideas that says you need to do a book about this? What was that guy's name?
His name is Justin Powell.
Justin, okay.
And the character of Tex, who you can see over here over my shoulder, the character of Tex is Justin, basically. He's the inspiration.
Is Justin from Texas?
He is.
Oh, okay. Does he have an accent?
He doesn't drive a big truck like this. He drives a Jeep. But yeah, that's Justin.
Was he offended that it wasn't a Jeep?
No, he wanted it to be a truck.
Okay. So does he have a Texas accent?
Not that I've noticed. No, not really.
Yeah, not everybody does. I think it depends on what city you came in, that you're from, and what you see on TV. I think it has a lot to do with the voice that you come up with. And of course, your peers.
Justin and my mother nagged me to do a Christmas book forever, right? But here's the thing. All those other books were based on real experiences or were inspired by real events, right? And I never had an experience that inspired the Christmas story. But for whatever reason, I finally came up with a storyline that made sense for Christmas. And I said, it doesn't have to be based on a real story this time.
Is this about a Jeep that was orphaned and was inadvertently picked up by Santa and taken to the North Pole?
No, that's Elf that you're thinking of.
It's a great idea, though.
No, in DJ's Off-Road Adventures, A Christmas Rescue, DJ and Tex are hanging out in the garage watching the news, and the reporter talks about the storm of the century and how no one should go outside. And so, of course, they decide that is a good reason to go outside and play, and they want to see if they can find anyone and help them. And so they grab their tow gear and they immediately find someone who has driven into the ditch, and they help her back on the road and send her home. And then they come across this 18-wheeler that's also stuck in the ditch. And the 18-wheeler, of course, turns out to be Santa Claus trying to deliver toys.
Oh, cool.
And so I won't give away the whole story, but DJ calls in his buddies and they help Santa out, but then it's too late for Santa to deliver the toys. So the friends have to kind of step up and help out.
Was one of the Jeeps named Rudolph? Because this sounds like a perfect situation, you know?
No, I'm going to tell you, the thing that held me back from doing this book really was the investment, right? Because as we've talked about, it's a lot of money to pay for an illustrator and book designer. But this time around, the folks over at Kansas Rocks specifically, they were like, we'd really love to see a Christmas book. It'd be so great. And we'd love to have our car, our vehicle be one of the characters. And they said, well, if you ever do any sponsorships, let us know. And I was like,
what?
Okay, maybe that's a good idea. So I came up with the idea of saying, well, I'll put your logo in the book. I'll list you as a sponsor, and I'll turn one of your vehicles into a character. And they stepped up. Majestic Tires and Service stepped up. Gulf Coast Jeep Outfitters, Marissa's company, stepped up. S'more, Southern Missouri Off-Road Ranch, and the Broncos of Texas actually stepped up.
Those bastards.
And so there's a whole cast of brand new characters in this book because they made it possible for this book to even exist. Mm-hmm. And right out of the gate, I'm not in the red for 2 years, Oh,
nice. Very nice. And that's amazing too, that it costs that much. People don't realize that. And then you mentioned Broncos, and I don't have a problem with Broncos. I just, for me personally, I don't have any interest in them unless it's a 60s model Bronco. or an OJ special. I like the OJ, the 70s ones as well. But do you have any Broncos in your book? I mean, I know that the vehicles that you have portrayed are not specific, like they're not super identifiable as Jeep because of Jeep identifying them as Jeeps. but they're in the theme of Jeeps.
They're inspired by Jeeps or inspired by Toyotas or inspired
as the book is. So you have other models in there is what you're saying.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, the Bronco.
That's the one that's broken down that you have to rescue, right?
No. In this one, it's a pink Bronco, and they named her Bronny, and she's got flowers all over her. And technically, again, it's not a Bronco, but if you look at it and you know what Broncos look like, you can tell it's inspired by a Bronco.
So Bronny, I mean, there's a deal right there. The paper towel company, they need to come and help.
Well, that's Brawny. This was like Bonnie with an extra R thrown in.
Don't work with me here. I'm trying to get you some support.
But yeah, and then there's
you can have a big rough and tumble guy with the lumberjack outfit driving the Brawny Jeep.
Except there's no humans in this in the DJ universe.
Well, but if there's money involved, I'm saying you could do a video.
You're right. I'll sell out.
There you go. So let me ask you this. Now you I know that because we've talked about this before. You have to do a lot of back and forth often on with what you have in your mind and what the illustrator is doing. So you'll go back and forth to get it just right, and as well you should, because it should be your vision. But have you looked into AI drawing these things for you?
Actually, I used AI to inspire the Santa character. I asked AI to create a 18-wheeler, red and white, with eyes and a mouth, and it spit out something kind of cool. But I really wanted that human element, right? I think
of
AI
course
has its place, but Here's what's interesting. In order to get my vision to the illustrator, I actually created dioramas of this entire book.
My goodness.
I had a giant cookie sheet with little trees, and I sprinkled flour on the trees, and I had the car like spinning out, and things like that. And then,
so was your wife and your daughter kind of concerned? Oh, they're going
not at all.
They, each other. Oh, they're used to it. Okay.
I do this crazy stuff. I did it a little bit with the first DJ. I had like piled up pillows and blankets and had the car on there.
Oh, it sounds like a cool fort. Yeah.
But there's all right. A little spoiler. Fast forward 30 seconds if you don't want to hear this, but Santa gives all the characters magic gasoline so that they can fly all over the world to deliver the cars, right? So I actually tied strings to all these cars, and I had my son and his girlfriend and my wife all hold the cars up while I took a little picture of it. And that's exactly where I wanted them placed, and that's how that illustrator knew how to draw that.
So I would imagine this saves a great deal of time, even though it takes a great deal of time to set all this stuff up, because you don't have to use words. And I would think that AI could do the same thing for you. AI is kind of hard to manipulate in that way, but to give you get your vision of what you want, and then you can send that to somebody, and then they say, draw something like this, but better, or like drawn by a human and not AI. I'm very impressed with what AI is doing, and I can see very quickly we're going to be able to be doing very creative things that are amazing quality-wise. So it may not be there yet, but we're getting very close. And I think everybody knows this. All the thumbnails that aren't screenshots of the show are generated by AI right now for our show here.
Well, one of the reasons I had to, I push back on AI is because I already have a universe designed, right? And I needed DJ book 4 to look like books 1, 2, and 3.
Of course. Yeah.
But here's something interesting. The artist who did the first 3 books agreed to do this book with me, but then he couldn't keep up with the schedule. So we were getting closer and closer, and I knew I had to have everything to the designer by October 1st to have it launch in time for people to buy it for Christmas. And he was several pages behind. He just had a lot of personal things going on in his life. And so I actually had to find a new illustrator, and I had to audition people to say, I need you to draw a couple of Jeeps that look just like
Right.
this book.
Yeah. Can you
right?
make the same style as
Yeah.
this one was? Yeah.
And so this is a new illustrator, and I think he leveled up, honestly. I think it still looks and feels like the DJ universe, but the detail is much greater. The colors are much brighter. It's really kind of cool what he did with it. Like, even, I don't know if you can see it or not, but in Texas headlights right there, they like kind of glow.
Oh, yeah, I see that. It's not just a cutoff. There's a was this done digitally, or was it actually pen or whatever and paper and sent you a scanned image?
No, I think it's done with a digital pen on a tablet.
That makes sense, because that would be a hell of an effect to try to do. Not saying you can't do it, but that'd be a hell of an effect to do with airbrush or whatever.
Right. So I just want to give a shout out to the new illustrator. His name is Sandaroo, and he stepped up and he came through for me when I was in a pinch, and he was amazing.
Now, I know if you're like me, and I think you are, you're not really concerned about competition. How did you find the illustrator to start with? Was this I'm brain farting, and maybe I'm not remembering this correctly, but was it Fiverr that you actually went and found the artist?
Very close. Upwork. So Floyd Leroy is the original illustrator, and I found him on Upwork, which is a site for contractors. And we worked out a deal, and it was a lot more than $5. So not Fiverr's.
Well, I mean, Fiverr is like Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree ain't Dollar Tree anymore.
That's fair. It's not all $5 anymore, but
no, it's not anywhere close. But I stopped using that a long time ago. I think AI has done a lot of damage for those individuals. And the illustrator is from another country, correct?
Yeah, Sandra is from Sri Lanka.
Oh, wow.
And so I had a short window each day that we could talk before he had to go to bed or before I had to go to bed. We had this small window. I even put I have an Apple Watch, and it will show another time zone. So I put Sri Lanka's time zone on there, so I would always know what time it was when I was talking to him.
Oh yeah, because you and this can even happen whenever you're just in different time zones in the States. You booked that meeting on Friday at 3:00. Well, it's 5:00 someplace else. So very, very cool. Okay, so there may be another book in the works, but you don't know what it is yet. But right now, what's the total number of books you have? Is it 5?
Well, there's the 4 DJ books. There's Tales from the Trails, and then I have a completely unrelated book called Everyday Lessons Every Day, which is a story of my own personal journey that I had to overcome some anger issues and save the relationships in my family. Oh,
I see it. Yeah. And of course, the easy thing to do is just go to Amazon.com and type in David McBee. I would recommend that you go there. You can find all the books, and then go over to djsoffroadadventure.com to make the purchase. Because you want to help DJ. Well, you tell me, is that the right thing to do? Because I want you to get the most money from the book.
The money is negligible either way. So I actually encourage people to buy on Amazon because it's a better experience for them. They get it cheaper, they get it faster, and they can write a review, which I really, really need more reviews.
That's good. We could mention that. So get the book, write a review. If your 3-year-old has to do the review, get them to do it in crayon and then translate it into Amazon. So now you mentioned something earlier about going to schools and I don't know, reading the book to the kids or showing it to the kids. Did you ever do that? I mean, COVID put a damper in that, but did you ever get to do that?
I actually did do it to several. I even went back to my elementary school that I went to as a kid. And what's great is they usually give me a big screen, in the gymnasium or whatever, or projector.
Yeah.
And I've turned the book into a PowerPoint. And so I will read the book and illustrate the speech bubbles come up one at a time, and I'll read them. And the kids are fine with, oh, that's a great book. Yeah. But what they really love is when they show them videos of Colorado and Moab, especially that top of the world. The end of book 1 ends at top of the world, and they're like, oh, that's cute. And then I show them the real picture of my actual Jeep on top of the world, and the oohs and the ahs that come from them. They're like, oh my God, that's a real place. And you went there. It's really, really exciting. And then the teachers will even let them come out to the parking lot and meet DJ, which is hilarious.
Very, very cool.
And they pose for pictures with DJ. It's so fun. And then the kids are just like, I want a Jeep so bad. I want a Jeep. Or what I often hear is the teacher saying, someday I'm going to get a Jeep. I want a Jeep someday. And I'm like, don't let a Jeep be your someday vehicle.
Right.
You don't know what's going to happen. Just go get it right now.
Yes. It's not a midlife crisis. It's not practical, but it doesn't matter. Your life doesn't have to, every bit of your life doesn't have to be practical. Enjoy your life. I think everybody wants a Jeep at some point in their life, and then they talk themselves out of it, or their spouse talks them out of it, or whatever. I mean, don't get a divorce because you go buy a Jeep, but I'm just saying, get that Jeep. Just have fun with it, especially with the way everything's going with EVs and stuff. Get you something that is an honest to God Jeep and enjoy it. Doesn't have to be a new one. You can get a used one. And all your Jeeps, would you say they're new models or a mixture of the old and the new?
All my Jeeps, the ones I own?
In the books. I'm sorry. In the two.
The books. There's a Fancy is one of the new characters. He's a white, like 77 CJ or something like that.
Nice.
It's a little weird to have a Jeep without a top be a character, because like what's behind the windshield should be brains and stuff back there. Right? But
that would be a great book.
it's kind of weird, but and then there's a Gladiator in there. I'm sorry, inspired by a Gladiator. There's a character named Tank who's inspired by an old, really, really built up Cherokee. There's a FJ inspired character in there that's really cool.
Inspired by a fake Jeep. Yeah.
Inspired by it. Well, it's not an FJ.
The Toyota FJ Cruiser?
No, or Land Cruiser. No, I don't know. I'm a Jeep guy. I don't know nothing about no Toyota.
I know. And then I was just going to say, if I remember correctly, you have a CJ, correct?
I do. I have a CJ7.
Yeah. So tell the folks what Jeeps you have. You're obviously a Jeeper, but let's prove it.
Well, I started out with a 76 CJ7 when I was 16. Then I drove two YJs over the course of college and after. Then a TJ, a 97 TJ, then a 2010 JKU, then a 2018 JLU, which is what I still have, which is what DJ was inspired by. And I love that Jeep. And then my wife had a 4xe Rubicon. We actually ended up selling it and buying her a Grand Cherokee. My daughter has a Tuscadero 2021 Sport. And then I recently got a new rebuilt CJ7 that is almost identical to the one I had when I was 16. And it is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same.
My baby.
I'm the same way with my original vehicle. I'd love to have an original vehicle. But it's just not practical. I mean, unless you have a Jay Leno garage or something that you can put them on.
Yeah, it's always in the way. It's taking up the third stall, and I don't drive it that much. In 2 years, I might have put 2,000 miles on it, but I take it around the lake. It's my Jeep therapy vehicle. Anytime I'm a little bit down or sad, I just get in that Jeep and nothing else matters. Just come home happy.
Mm-hmm. I think it was either 76 or 77 that I seriously thought about getting a Jeep. And I've mentioned this. I think I mentioned it to you before. And I went and checked to find out what liability insurance was. And this is 77, and it was $75 a month. I still remember how much it was, and there was no way I could afford that. So it was no Jeep for Tony. So I'd kind of like to have a 76 or 77 Jeep, which at that time would have been a CJ. I didn't even know what a CJ was. Of course, it was just a Jeep. It was the thing that's a Jeep, they could have, I think I was surprised to find out about the Cherokee Jeep, the SJ, I think it was. And I didn't even know about that. It's a station wagon Jeep to me. And I think most people, the Wrangler, which the CJ wasn't a Wrangler, the Wrangler didn't start until the YJs. But to most people, that configuration is what a Jeep is, not these other things they came up with.
Yeah.
All right, David, always fun to talk to you. Thank you very much for being a guest here on the show. Is this your fourth time here? I think you've been on Chick Chat once and been with me on here a couple of times before, right?
I think so. I think it might be time for me to just get a Jeep Talk Show tattoo right here in the space.
Do you know that I can get those? They're rub-ons, and I think it'd be really funny if I got a bunch of those and sent it out to people. Got the pictures on social media with the Jeep Talk Show.
Send me a few. I'll put them all over my bald head, and I'll send you a picture.
So I want you to know, I held back when you were talking about being in your 50s, and I was going to say, well, at least you have your hair. You can be. You don't have to. You don't have to worry about that. All right, man. Well, thanks a lot. I really appreciate it. It's always fun to talk to you. It's like old times being here talking to you on the show. You know how the kids love the social media, surely. And this is interesting. I say the kids because I'm referring to adults, but quite literally, you being a children's book author, I can well imagine that if their parents are controlling the phone, they can visit Instagram and stuff and see more about DJ's Off-Road Adventure. So where can they find you? Literally, the kids. Where can the kids find you online?
Yeah, DJ's Off-Road Adventures has presence on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. I don't do as much on TikTok, but yeah, it's not hard to find.
Right. So go over to Amazon.com, check this out. And of course, this is a perfect time because you know that you're sweating. What can I get for my grandkid? What can I get for my nephew or my niece? You know, is it a tie or a pair of socks? No, it's a DJ's Off-Road Adventure book. Which one would you recommend people get as a first book for a kid? And really, it doesn't matter what age kid it is because you can read to them.
Yeah, I think the girls like the Girls Rock one, right? It's about a pink Jeep. You know, that's fun. The Christmas one, everybody seems to be really falling in love with this one. It's a little more fantastical. You know, it's not like so real life. But they're all great books. You buy the set.
Okay, I got a great idea for you. I'm gonna fight Justin on this. I got a great idea for you. There's supposed to be at the day we're recording this, there's supposed to be the 6th launch of the SpaceX Starship. Their 6th test. So this is, we mentioned the going to Mars, reading the books, going to Mars and stuff. You need to do a DJ's Off-Road Adventure space-based because they can take the Jeep to Mars.
That is kind of a cool idea.
It's very relevant because of all the stuff that's going on right now. And of course, Elon's big because of all the political stuff that's going on right now. And you can do I mean, the Starship isn't very fancy, so it wouldn't be very hard to have a inspired Starship. And they'd load up DJ's going to Mars.
All right. If you can get me some sponsors, I'm on that. I'll do it.
So I'm going to tweet our ex, Elon, right now, because I think that there's 2 things I want him to do. Help you with your book, and I want him to put a Jeep Talk Show logo on the side of the Starship. And I can't afford it, so he's going to have to pay for it. It's a sweet deal. I'll give him some advertising. DJ's Off-Road Adventure goes to space. Absolutely. And it's going to go, and that'll be a guarantee read on the trip to Mars.
It would be. Yeah, I think you're onto something, Tony. I think you're onto something.
David, thanks a lot for being here with us today. And of course, we're going to have you on soon, but you're going to need to write more books because we have to have you on to talk about books.
I'll see what I can, wait, real quick. It's almost like the Fast and the Furious movies. Somebody sat around and said, well, let's take one of those cars to space. And that's what they did.
Oh, did they? I stopped watching it after like the 2nd or 3rd one.
Oh, yeah. They're silly movies. I loved them. Yeah. I love them.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with junk food movies.
Space.
Yeah. Oh, did they? Oh, well, it's the next frontier.
Yeah. So and DJ goes to space. That could be really interesting.
And then there's the ocean. You could have a one where they go into the ocean and recover all those Jeeps that were thrown off of the island of Japan or wherever it was, one of those islands out in the Pacific, and a little bubble on the head of on DJ, and he's going down there, and these Jeeps are going, help me.
You are giving Justin a run for his money now.
There we go. Oh yeah. I'm really good on the idea department. It's the follow through that I'm not very good on. All right, man. Have a great day. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you, Tony.
You're my friend. You're my new friend.